Hello, buongiorno, and welcome back to Famous Interviews. You may have noticed I slipped in a little Italian over my French tongue, because today I hope to muster the magnificent musical maestro, that flashy, feathery, flamboyant, gingerly gemmed and bejeweled, vivacious Vegas virtuoso and prolific popular pianist, the lovable, semi-Sicilian luminary, Liberace. Yes, Mr. Showmanship himself. Well, in his prime, he was the biggest star on the planet. Star on the planet sounds a bit like an astronomical oxymoron. Well, no moron he. When Ralph Crumbden asked Alice why she wanted to telly, she exclaimed, "I want to watch Liberace." For some reason which somehow completely escapes me, women were positively passionate about him. There were some pretty passionate men about as well. What's that, Egbert? Well, we all know that now. But he skillfully sculpted a public persona belying his private proprium. Pardon? I have no idea. He wasn't Jewish. And proprium doesn't mean that. It means character, selfhood. Dearest Egbert, put down that cell phone and pick up a book for once. Allons, let us begin, begin. Not the dance, but the trance. And perchance to enhance a spot of me old regular. Well, you new regular. It's funny how quickly I've cottoned to gin. Cheers. Now, I don't wish to dilly-dally or dawdle, so let's get right to it before you switch to another program. I know all about your modern attention spans. Yes, I'm talking to you. So, I shall now strive to summon that twinkly tinkler of the pianoforte. Well, one more tap on the tonic. Perfect. All right. One candle won't do. No, not even two. A candelabra for you. Wish I could put it on a Steinway, but we're on a budget. All right. My dearest Liberace, I offer this gift deferentially, a light that softly lingers upon the air like a melody from your jeweled and frisky fingers. Commune with us, Liberace, commune with us. Move amongst us, move amongst us. And put your skates on, I'm marinating here. Oh, goodness, should have brought me sunnies. Still dazzling, aren't you?
It's my heavenly glow. I'll tone it down if you like.
Please, please do. Oh, and there you are, not blinding but brilliant. Welcome, Liberace. I am Lady Mary Pozah, and you're on Famous Interviews.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. Nice to be anywhere nowadays. I always enjoy making guest appearances. I'm a pretty curtain.
Yes, thank you. You always loved pretty things, didn't you? Especially pretty shiny things. Do you like these flowers? They don't sparkle, but I think they're lovely.
Yes, they are. You know, I have my own line of Liberace glamorous floral arrangements, and they were all named for musical compositions like Clair de Lune, Moonlight Sonata, and Concerto, and Rhapsody. Well, and they were all silk flowers that were glamorized with rhinestones and sparkles.
Just like you and moi.
Only mine are real.
Mine are real shiny. I remembered your trademark.
Well, thank you. You know, I once saw a movie called Song to Remember, in which Chopin was portrayed by Cornel Wilde. And in one scene in the movie, Meryl Oberon carries in a candelabra and places it on Chopin's piano. And it was one of the highlights of the movie. Here was this great composer sitting in his darkened room, and when she walked in with the candelabra, well, suddenly everything lit up and music seemed to sparkle more.
Your specialty.
And I thought, that's a great gimmick. The next day I went out looking for one, and I found one on 3rd Avenue in an antique shop. It had real candles, wasn't electrified. When I opened at the Persian Room here in New York, at the Plaza Hotel.
Yes, I read about that. Your miniature piano ring was the talk of the town. Is that the one?
No, that one was platinum and diamonds. This one's ebony, diamonds, and rubies. Want to touch it?
Touch what? Oh, no, darling. Thank you very much, but how lovely.
So just before I made my entrance at the Persian, they darkened the room, and I didn't have Meryl Oberon. But I had an attendant come in and place the candelabra on the piano, and suddenly the audience, who had been chatting and talking, suddenly became very hush-hush and very quiet and attentive. And I began my show. And I found it was a great attention getter. Almost overnight it became a trademark. The press picked up on it and said, "He's the piano player with the candelabra." Yeah. People started imitating me, and all they had to do was come in with a candelabra and sit at a piano, and everybody knew it was me.
Darling, all they'd have really needed was a sequined outfit. What a style you sported. No one but you could possibly have gotten away with it. Well, except perhaps Zsa Zsa or Cher. Cher could get away with almost anything. In fact, she has. So, you are quoted as saying you had more furs and diamonds than Elizabeth Taylor.
It's true, I did.
Well, perhaps. But her sapphire eyes were more passionately prized than any dazzling diamond.
The Queen of England gave me a royal amethyst circled with diamonds.
Well, Liz, Queen of the Nile, sported the 69-carat crop diamond.
Well, I had 110,000 carat Swarovski rhinestone.
I think rhinestone says it all. Well, your real gem, of course, was your television show. That made you such a sensation.
I think television is very important, but I think my favorite kind of entertaining is playing before a live audience in person. To me, that's the purest form of show business.
Well, was your television show live then?
Well, I did it in front of an audience, but it was filmed.
However did you first discover your talent for piano? Were you playing even as a suckling?
Well, Mary, it could be. I really can't remember when I didn't.
Suck?
Play the piano. I started playing by ear when I was a little kid. My sister was taking piano lessons and she hated to practice. And my mother would say, "Angie," that's my sister, "Angie, practice." So Angie would put me at the piano and I would play for her. And my mother would think Angie was practicing and she'd be out playing. And I'd be sitting at the piano practicing her lessons, but by ear.
Ooh, by ear. Well, mine are only good for hangings. How long did you two get away with this scheme?
Well, of course, Mother found out. So when I started taking piano lessons, and eventually I got a scholarship to the Wisconsin College of Music with a very fine teacher, and the scholarship lasted for 17 years.
17 years?
17 years.
Oh, my dear. If my son Cecil took that long in college, I'd be skint, positively penurious.
Well, fortunately, as I said, I had a scholarship for 17 years. Yes,
yes.
Right. I made my debut during that time with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. Made my recital debut.
How thrilling. So, why did you leave the long hairs for the lounge lizards?
Well, all during that time, I was also playing with a dance band with my brother George and playing popular music. And with that kind of music, I was able to make a living. But with the concert music, it was mostly for glory. I had a lot of offers to play, but not a lot of offers to pay.
Well, you played with your brother. Did you find it difficult working so intimately with a family member?
A lot of groups that are family-oriented seem to practice, breakup. I guess it's too much being together. They can't handle it. But George and I handled each other very well.
Did you? Well, how cozy. I once tried a mother-son combo, but it didn't pan out. Wasn't his thing. He thought it daft. Wouldn't play along. And he was so beautiful blowing on his own kazoo. But you had a fruitful career, not just as a pianist. You were an all-around entertainer.
I've always wanted to feel that I did them all.
Did 'em all?
Did it all, Mary. That's why every day I try to make something happen, because I felt if I didn't, it was a wasted day. As I got older, I started thinking about wasting time. When you're young, you say, oh, I'm young, I got lots of years ahead of me. And when you get past 50, you start thinking of conserving yourself and your time and making it worth something.
Was there anyone? Was there anything you wished you'd done you hadn't?
I would have liked to do a Broadway show.
Ooh,
That's something I never did.
yes, for those of you too young to remember, Broadway was where they used to have live theatrical performances on a stage with an actual audience. It's true. Google it. So, anything else you wished you'd done?
I thought it would have been marvelous if I could have been in a movie and gotten an Oscar.
What type of role? Sexy, swashbuckling action hero?
Well, I think the public would have expected me to have done something that was music-oriented. But I could have still been the hero.
The key-pounding, sweet-sounding, slick-sequined hero. How lovely, lovely. I could have fancied that, like Robert Preston in Victor Victoria. Or was that after your time?
No, I saw it. I thought it was brilliant. I love Julie Andrews, Robert Preston. I completely forgot about Music Man. Completely forgot about Julie Andrews and The Sound of Music. Completely different. I'd have loved to do something like that.
Well, you'll never believe this, but I had a secret desire of my own, to be a successful chanteuse and garner a Grammy. Well, of course one must be born with a voice, n'est-ce pas? No matter how much you practice, if you're tone deaf, you can't be a good musician, can you?
Oh, are you tone deaf?
No, darling, the furthest thing from it. I hear all the tones. It's just arranging them properly that is not my forte. When I was younger, before my church show, I used to sing in a little club. And one night a very famous player from the West End, who was a friend, attended. And afterwards she came to my dressing room and I asked what she thought of my voice. Well, after what felt like interminable consideration, she replied, "You have nice hair."
I learned to ignore bad reviews.
Well, I could have clawed her charcoal-rimmed raccoon eyes right out of their odious orbits. Sadly, time has proven her point. So instead of warbling at Wembley, I prattle with poltergeist. You'd think I couldn't get a live one.
Maybe you need more dedication and drive.
No, darling. It all comes down to talent, doesn't it? Talent, talent, talent. That's what I'm lacking. Quel fromage. Well, fortunately, I finally found a part of me I can share with everyone.
You mean famous interviews?
Yes, of course. What else? Now, Lee, if I may be so familiar.
Yes, that's what my intimate circle called me.
Your intimate circle. Exactly what I wanted to ask about. Your most intimate circle. Throughout your life, you maintained a facade which, frankly, was belied by nearly every sequin, sparkle and spangle, every diamond, cape and fur you wore. What I'd like to know is how you pulled it off.
Pulled it off? Pulled off what?
Or who? What I'm getting at is, why did you pretend to be heterosexual?
Well, I never pretended to be anyone but who I am.
Oh, please! You pretended to be a ladies' man while anyone could see you were gay as a pink hairnet, straight as Lombard Street, butcher's boy George. We know you're a great tickler of the ivories, but who else were you tickling? Scott Thorson, who, incidentally, was 40 years your junior. Kudos for that.
Scott Thorson was a disgruntled employee and a gold digger.
Lee, darling, hello, it's me, Mary. You can come out now. No one will know, believe me. Unlike you, this show hasn't gone viral. Yet. And, after all, you're dead. What harm can the truth do you now?
Scott was hired as a personal companion. There was never a sexual relationship. He claimed to have been Michael Jackson's lover, too, and who could believe that? I knew Michael since he was a little boy.
Then you grew up and dated them. But darling, you had a worldwide reputation. Cassandra of the Daily Mirror described you as a deadly winking, sniggering, snuggling, chromium-plated, scent-impregnated, luminous, quivering, giggling, fruit-flavored, mincing, ice-covered heap of mother love. It upset you so, you sued.
I won and cried all the way to the bank.
Is it true you also cried over Joe Namath, O.J. Simpson, Cary Grant? Any truth to your purported orgies with Rock Hudson?
Did you have any other questions?
All right. Let's talk about your fiancés.
I had 3.
And married none.
Well, in the early 50s, I was engaged to a showgirl, but that didn't work out. And later I was engaged to a citrus farming heiress, but we broke it off.
Perhaps the citric heiress wasn't fruity enough. Then there was Sonia Henney in 1957, but you never made it to the altar with her either. What a surprise. Unlike moi, I made it to the altar only to be jilted by me unintended. Frederick.
I saw too many individuals suffocate in marriage, lose their own identities. I enjoyed being a swinging single.
Swinging? You? You mean you went both ways?
No, Mary, I mean I loved all good people. I didn't care if they were homosexual, bisexual, or heterosexual. I didn't judge others. Likewise, I don't expect others to judge me.
Oh, darling, I would never judge you. The media's managed that well enough. But dear, there's no reason to be ashamed of being a homosexual. Gay, as they say nowadays. They've actually legalized it since your time. In fact, today you could marry another man.
But, Mary, I'm not gay.
Yes, of course. Neither am I, darling. I'm just a woman with a chat show.
Well, it's been very nice to meet you, and I wish you all the luck with famous interviews. I can see you're going to need it.
Wait. I have one more question about Rock Hudson. Just exactly how big was his...
I have a gig at the Archangel Arena, and I have to pick out my costume. Something that can outshine the halos. So, I'm thrilled to say goodbye, Mary.
Seems to be one of those temperamental types. It's funny how times have changed. In his heyday, Liberace could have been arrested for leading a lifestyle which, well, today is accepted to be just another nuance of human nature. In the 50s, he'd have risked fame and fortune if forthright about his sexuality. In the end, he must have struggled sorely, concealing his true character. Well, times change, and thank heaven for that. So judge him not, lest ye be judged, as we say on the mount. Darlings, I hope you enjoyed as much as I me delightfully dainty confab with me pulchritudinous penis. Do join me for another captivating conversation with, well, je ne sais pas who. And don't forget to like this episode, subscribe to me channel, and tell all your bon amis to pretty please tune us in. I am Lady Mary Pozah, and this has been Famous Interviews.
But Mary, I'm not gay. Want to touch it?
Touch what?